I mean, and sometimes it just happens to be during your lifetime. And there's nothing you can do about it. So either you sit and you say, like, oh shit, there could have been a better time, or you go on with your life and you hope to God that whoever you bring into the world does something to make the world a little bit better. So that's what I tell myself. I'm like, this little one, hopefully I can make a human being who's gonna leave the world a little bit better than it was before, and that would be my hope and my
Mitali, thank you so much for doing this. I am so excited to do this because you are such an inspiration to so many women out there through the House of Misu platform and people who follow you individually as well. And you've literally made fashion blogging into a profession, right? From a hobby to a profession. Tell me a little bit about that journey, and of course, we then get into the reason why you are on Raising Parents on Geo7 with me.
So our journey is actually it's quite straightforward. My partner Sumaya and I, we decided that we wanted to work together at a very young age. Once I graduated from college, I worked in PR briefly just to get a lay of the land while Sumaya was doing design. She was doing fashion, like she was making Indian clothes for people, and she was studying jewelry. We sort of decided that to take all our passions together and pump it into one platform. So the day we started working together was also the day we registered our company as House of Misu. And the parent company is actually Misu Fashion Consultants. So, about 8 years ago, we registered a company with the main purpose of creating a brand that won't just be in the market of branding and the market of marketing, but it would also eventually have its own product line. So, we've always had this kind of big sort of beautiful dream of ours that we've shared, and we've been working towards that.
So, Misu, tell me, being at the best in the business and being in the fashion space, you're now expecting your first child.
Mhm.
Was it a planned thing?
Yes, actually, 2020 was going to be the year of a baby me or baby Sid. We don't know yet, but yes, we were planning. I honestly didn't plan for it to be this quick. Like, I didn't think it would literally be like, ma'am, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. But, by the grace of God, that's what happened. And we started the year fairly pregnant.
And did that thought ever cross your mind that, I'm in the fashion space, I'm at the peak of my career. Is this the logical step to take at this point in time?
If I did not have a business partner, if I did not have Sumaya, I would definitely have perhaps held back a little longer. Because not only was I completely out of commission for the first 3 months of my pregnancy, I did do a little bit here and there, like shoots that were absolutely imperative that we had committed to and we couldn't pull out of. I had to be there, but I was in a really bad state, so I couldn't. I was dysfunctional, and then going closer to my delivery, I'll again be fairly out of commission, and then for the first few months, I will be fairly out of commission again. So I know that it will take a lot away from work, but if I didn't have my business partner, I would have had seconds, at least for now, at this point in my career.
Yeah, and the reason I asked this question, Mitali, is because, there are so many women, especially who are at the peak of their career or doing really, really well in the fashion space, in the influencer marketing space. They're all at this juncture where, a large part of them will say, okay, let me delay this. This is,
Mhm.
like personal life is always kind of takes the back seat versus professional life, right? Because you feel you'll never have enough. So, it means a lot for you to be honest right now and say that, yes, I would have delayed it if not
Mhm.
for my business partner. But I think that's incredible that you still had the courage to kind of say, no, this is priority. This is a personal goal, and I need to achieve it this year. Did
No,
you discuss it
definitely.
with
And I have
Maya?
so much support, even from Sumaya herself, who's like insanely supportive. And she's like, you know what? I will take on those extra burdens. I will work longer hours. You chill. You take care of yourself. I'll get it done. I'll get it done. So she's been like literally my rock through this so far. And then again, like I was in Mahabaleshwar for nearly 2 months. So I wasn't here with like speedy internet. I wasn't here able to shoot some of the things that she wanted me to shoot or that we could have done together. But she was super supportive because she knows that right now this is not only my priority, but it's also a big priority for her because it's
Right.
family, you know.
I've met her. She's such a incredible human being,
She
and
is.
she's the reason we connected, right?
She
So
really is.
that's amazing. Tell me, how is it for such a big fashion influencer to see and accept that your body's changing?
Oh, so the funniest thing is that my first 3 months, I was in fact maybe slightly thinner even than I was before I got pregnant because I was so unwell. When I went to Mahabaleshwar again, I was normal, flat stomach. My husband had just left Mahabaleshwar. He had no idea what I looked like pregnant. And then, literally within the first few weeks of him leaving, I started to expand. So my hips started to just like literally, they started to explode, and I couldn't understand what was happening. I started getting these like purple, not really stretch marks, but they were like purple lines with like rough skin that would itch, and I just couldn't. My breasts just engorged. Like I'm fairly small breasted, so it was quite shocking for me to suddenly be like, none of my bras fit. I can't wear tops. I can't wear tight t-shirts anymore. My pants stopped fitting me completely. I had no clothes to wear. I was wearing my mom's clothes because I literally had nothing there. I'd gone with like 4 pairs of clothes because I was meant to be there only 4 days. Um, but I think after speaking to my mom-in-law, speaking to Sumaya, speaking to my friends who had babies, and um, when I started to feel more pregnant, like feel like there's actually a baby growing in me, I came to terms with the fact that my body is doing something incredible, and I need to let it do its thing. Like just go for it wherever, however you want to grow as long as you're doing it in a healthy way. So yeah, I do keep active though, because I do want a healthy delivery. So I make sure I stay active. I'm trying to avoid certain foods that would give me unnecessary weight gain. I'm happy to grow as much as the baby needs, but aside from that, I don't want it to lead to any like pregnancy complications.
Mitali, tell me, if you don't mind answering that, how old are you?
I'm 31. I just turned
And
31 in February.
and does it? And tell me, do your friends, like people in your friend circle, do they already have children? So was it like playing on your mind
Hmm.
that, listen, my friends are, they already have their kids, or their kids are 2 or 3, and I better do this now? Or
Surprisingly, no. In my friend circle, like my close friend circle, I'm the first one.
wow.
Like, yeah, in
And
my
you're
immediate friend circle.
a fashion influencer, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Babe. You have a lot of courage, and you're super confident. Because I know
But
women who
my
are in
husband, he's older to me. So he's got a lot of friends with babies, and we do spend a lot of time with them. And I do ask them for advice and things. So I don't feel like I'm completely out in the dark. And currently, right now, along with me, I do have a few friends who are also pregnant. So they haven't
okay,
delivered yet, but they are also pregnant. But like, there's no one who's had a baby yet in my immediate
right.
circle.
Which is great, because I'm sure over the course of time you're going to bond so well with those people, and
Yeah.
they'll become like your immediate circle to go to, right? Tell me, how have the brands and people that you work with responded to the news?
So
Have they known?
I think because once my pregnancy came out, we were already in quarantine, and it was already like unique circumstances.
Yeah.
So we've all been a little bit in our own shells trying to deal with things ourselves. So there aren't too many brands right now who are even having conversations because
Right.
of the current
Yeah.
situation, and because sales are not going to take place, orders are not going to take place. Although having said that, there are a few brands who are like yourself, who are coming to have conversations with me, or who want to know what's going on, and who are sort of starting to plan for the future. So
Yeah.
more relevant things such as like how health before the baby comes, prenatal things, planning for your postnatal, like furniture for babies' rooms, things like that. But not as much as it could have been if we were not under Corona quarantine.
Yeah. But tell me, Manali, do you have, and I know when I saw your post when you broke the news, you were in Mahabaleshwar, the first time when you actually know about it and things. You have in your first trimester, you have a couple of scans, and you need to
Hmm.
go for routine checkups. You've kind of super skipped all of that and come straight straight into
Yeah,
your
I
doctor's
skipped 2 months
appointment
of
yesterday.
that.
You're right. So how was that been? Were you sick? Was it a first easy trimester? Like what was it like?
Oh no, my first trimester made me want to die. I was like, why do people do this to themselves? And I told my husband, I was like, listen, this baby better be a good one because that's the only one you're going to get if this is what pregnancy feels like. But I think once I was over that first 3 month hump, um, I felt like I can do almost anything that I could do before I got pregnant. So I wasn't afraid anymore, apart from the normal pregnancy anxiety that comes like, oh, I haven't done this, or I have to do this, or what's the world going to be like when the baby arrives. Besides that, just because it's such a stark difference between my first 3 months and my second trimester, that I'm literally just thankful right now that I feel normal, that I'm not like running to the bathroom or like getting horrible bouts of acidity, or just feeling like I have zero energy. So I'm just grateful. I feel like myself, well, a version of myself.
And it's all been good in terms of, like how is it to be pregnant? Like with the world is kind of crumbling around you, what's your mental space when you're actually bringing life into this world? Because I don't know too many people who are pregnant right now, and I should like my heart goes out to you
I know a
guys because
few. I know a few. I did have my moments where I would message Sumaya being like, this is where my head's at right now. And then she'd give me a pep talk and she'd be like, listen, the world goes through phases and you're going to be amazing. Just like go with the flow and blah, blah, blah. But you do, of course, have those moments where you're like, what am I bringing life into? Like, what kind of world is
right.
this? What have we done? Like, humanity is such a shit show. Like, is this the time to bring a baby into the world? But then I have those moments where I'm like, throughout the history of human beings, there have been times of absolute chaos, absolute destruction. There have been plagues, there have been wars. I mean, and sometimes it just happens to be during your lifetime. And there's nothing you can do about it. So either you sit and you say, like, oh shit, there could have been a better time, or you go on with your life and you hope to God that whoever you bring into the world does something to make the world a little bit better. So that's what I tell myself. I'm like, this little one, hopefully I can make a human being who's going to leave the world a little bit better than it was before, and that would be my hope and my
I mean, it's incredible that you're so positive at this point. And did you ever think that you're gonna have a Zoom baby shower if this doesn't end too soon?
aim. If
Was
this
that
doesn't
like an
end, I
ideal
still
picture?
don't think I'll have a Zoom baby shower. I told Sumaya, I was like, we will either hopefully do something like just a few of my closest friends, and if that's not permitted, we will do a baby shower after baby comes. That's fine. That's different. Baby can be at the baby shower and be the guest of honor. That's cool.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet. Yeah, because I'm sure that every mom to be has like a Pinteresty picture of how her baby shower is gonna look. In your case, a very Instagramish baby shower, right? But you must have planned for like months and months
Well,
and
if
months.
Sumaya has anything to do with it, it will be a very Instagramish baby shower. She's a lot more like detail oriented than I am. So yeah, definitely. And she herself was like, we are not foregoing the baby shower, Mitali. Like we are not. I said, okay, we will have
And
it.
if Maya has her way, it is going to be an incredibly I
Yeah.
like I can almost think of the food is going to be so super
Oh
healthy.
yeah,
Like,
definitely.
you come out of dabbas and dabbas and dabbas.
Everyone can have takeaway boxes.
Yes, she's like so incredibly healthy. So tell me, what's been your diet? Like, what makes you sick? What makes you feel good?
Oh, like I said, after going 3 months where I'm barely able to even eat dry bread, to like wanting to eat thirds and fourth helpings, my appetite is enormous. Like all my friends know, I mean, I have a normal to slightly less appetite. Sumaya's got a very hearty appetite, but compared to her, I eat like a child. And now, if you
It's
see
not
me eat,
small.
oh, she's got a very, yeah, she eats very well. She's a very good eater. So sometimes she used to look at me and be like, Nani, really? That's it? Okay, then she'll take it off my plate and she'll eat it. So my appetite was never that big. I just eat really often throughout the day. But now, literally, I finish a meal and I'm thinking, what should I eat next? Like, what will my evening snack be? Should I like bake brownies today? So my entire world, aside from like obviously what's happening in the world, revolves around what I'm gonna put in my mouth. So yeah, I eat voraciously. Right now, ever since I've been back to Bombay, I am like obsessively happy about eating mangoes. So I stopped myself at two though because I don't think it's healthy for me to eat more than two. But literally those two mangoes, I'm like so happy to eat.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's all the usual stuff like I love bread, so any sandwiches, my vegan burgers that I've had in my freezer for ages. So those I'm so happily eating now. Cheese makes me very happy, and my mother's puran poli, which she has made like a 6 month supply and sent. I'm going through a bit of a puran poli phase. That's the good in me.
So tell me about the cravings. How have the cravings been?
So the cravings have been a bit nuts. I'm not a person who likes sweet at all. That's Sumaya. She needs her sugar every day. I'm more of a savory person. But now I'm like waking up thinking about oatmeal pancakes and baking like honey chocolate brownies every other afternoon. So I need my sugar hit every day also. But of course, I'm trying to be more like responsible and not having white sugar and having honey and things like that. But yeah, I've definitely started to crave a lot more sugar than I used to. And yeah, just in general, like I said, I'm just eating a lot. So if
Tell
anything,
me,
I could go on Pinterest and suddenly start craving like crusty artisanal bread because I saw a picture of it, and that would be like my next obsession. So,
yeah, you already, your dad has been baking some incredible bread. I saw the picture
my
of
dad's
that
an
one.
insane cook. He is
Yeah.
an insane cook. Yes,
So
definitely.
he's been like feeding you well in Mahabaleshwar.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They fed me a bit too well, I think.
Okay, tell me, what would your advice be to all the young girls out there who look up to you, who follow you, who were on that exact cusp where you were, like maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, career or family? Like, what would you say to them?
See, it's an interesting question. It's definitely a double-edged sword because each circumstance is different. But I would say life waits for no one. If this pandemic has taught us anything, that's this. That, why wait for tomorrow what you can achieve today? So you just at that moment decide what is more important to you, what gives you more joy. If you are feeling like I'm ready for this, but you're holding back because you feel like there's something more you can achieve here, you just have to decide what outweighs what and then do that because no one wants to leave this world with regrets and yeah, there's no hard and fast rule either that you have to have a baby before a certain age. People are having babies much later in life now than they used to, obviously taking your health into account, but just do what you feel is right for you. Don't wait because time will
Opportunities
come.
will come, right? Opportunities will always come, no matter what, right? It's not going to be like we're going to be stop seeing a lot more of Mitali on Misu. That's not going to happen. We're
Oh,
just and really, I think because a lot of people feel that listen, I was always known for fashion and lifestyle and travel and living like a nomadic life. I know how you guys travel and how aggressively, and travel's a really big
yeah, we
category.
did travel a lot. In fact, I had 3 trips lined up when the virus hit while I was already pregnant. I was supposed to go do 3 things before I was out of commission from pregnancy, and I mean, life happens to surprise us all.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But tell me,
yeah,
does it, tomorrow when you will see people in the same fraternity get something that you could have done, but just because, you feel like you can't do it because you're pregnant, or the brand will not be okay with it because you're pregnant. Do you feel like brands need
um,
to change perspective to women?
I mean, definitely. In terms of like what other people think, what brands might think about, like if I'm pregnant, I can't do this. That completely depends on the circumstance or the product or the campaign. But for me, from my point of view, I'm not someone who's like, oh no, I missed out on that shit. I'm like, no, something else will come along. There's enough work for everyone. We're a very supportive fraternity, so I do have a lot of love and respect for quite a few of the influencers whom I know. And I'm very happy for them when they get something amazing or they're doing some great work. So for me, it's like if it's not this, it'll be something else, and you should just go with the flow. Competition just makes you work harder, and that's fine as long as it's respectful competition. And yeah, it's just that I'll take a slightly different route now with some of my conversations and with some of my content, but I'm still the same person, and my viewpoints on most things still remain the same. So I'm not afraid of like losing projects or losing things. And again, there's Sumaya.
Yes, yes, that's very important.
Yeah,
Do
so
you
her
think
perspective
do
is
you
very
think it
nice.
makes it easier to be in the space if you have a partner? Like it's easier, and maybe that's when
Definitely.
you take the plunge much before
Definitely.
everyone else.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So even with the conversations I've had with other influencers who are in the same place as we are in terms of level or who've been doing it for as long as we are, I mean, their lifestyles are so much more intense than ours is because we can share the burden. So I still have time with my husband. I can still take trips knowing that Sumaya's in Bombay. I can take those 2 weeks to go to the Philippines with my husband. So I know that it is very helpful. Like someone who's doing it completely by themselves, they do have to sacrifice time at home. They do have to sacrifice time that they could spend on themselves, whereas here we can split the burden. So I think that's very
Right,
helpful.
right. We can't end without, having like a quick rapid fire. We're gonna just ask you, and you need to
Ooh,
answer in a
what would you
word. Okay?
learn?
Yes, in a word. I wish we were doing this in the studio because we would have then given you a lovely hamper after.
Oh, that's
But
okay. That's okay.
but
Yeah,
when the lockdown is over, that shall arrive, and I hope that's very very soon. I
me
really didn't
too.
think I just really didn't think that I'd ever record my first ever parenting original podcast, like this. I really didn't think, but I'm sure this is going to go down as history, right? People are going to refer back to it as when people were pregnant in a pandemic, what did they do? Like,
Yeah,
something
definitely.
like that. And Mitali, you're going to be part of history. We
I hope
already
so.
are. We're documenting history every day, so it's amazing. Okay, who do you think is going to pamper the baby more, you or the husband?
My husband.
It's always the men. Okay, the one thing you're most scared about it when it comes to parenting.
Like accidentally teaching them something I shouldn't, I guess.
Okay, what kind of a mom do you think you will turn out to be?
I think I'll be very much like my mom. I think I'll be patient yet disciplined yet fun. I would hope I'd be fun and encouraging.
Okay, how many times have you used the pregnancy card and said, "Listen, dude, I'm pregnant. Just get me that." Like, how often do you use that?
Not enough. Not enough.
You
I
just
need
do
to
it like,
start using it more. I need to.
okay. How many pregnancy kits did you use before you confirmed the news?
Wait, I have to count. Four and then a blood test because we just wanted to be like 1,000,000% sure. Although my first test came positive.
Okay. Who was the first person you broke the news to?
My husband.
Okay. What was his
Although
first reaction?
my mom, I told my mom I was taking the test, so I don't know if that counts.
Of course. So she came to know actually before your husband.
Kind of. I mean, not like for certain, but I told she bought me my first test. So
Okay. Okay. What was his first reaction when he saw the two pink lines?
he's a very he's a very realistic fellow. So he didn't like get excited. He was like, I'm gonna buy three more tests.
Okay.
So he wanted to be sure before he let himself get really
It's
happy.
all men, Vitali. It's
Yeah.
all men. It's all of them, right? They just can't believe what they've done when they don't actually be
Yeah.
the ones who do half, like 90% of it. Okay. What does your screen time look like now? And
So
have you
only
watched?
because my mom has put it into my head that you shouldn't be watching anything scary or anything dark because like what you absorb, the baby absorbs. So I love horror, I love thrillers, and I used to have girls' nights with one of my best friends who'd come home and we'd watch like the scariest movies we could find. So I haven't done that in a very long time because she's put this into my head. So I'm definitely watching less horror and thriller. But yeah, like I still watch a lot of the things that I love to watch. Like I watch a lot of historicals, I watch a lot of like feel good movies and shows, and it's not changed terribly, just no more horror.
How are you managing your beautiful hair? Like, has it like
Oh,
become even
no,
better now with the hormones
so
kicking
much
in?
access of light. Like I don't even I can't cut it, so I'm I'm just doing my usual stuff: serum, conditioner, shampoo, blow dry, but nothing much else because I don't have the means right now. But yeah, pregnancy hormones make your hair grow longer and fall less. So my hair is feeling and looking much better than it used to. So I shouldn't complain. Like grow away if
Well,
you want.
lastly, what do you think it's gonna be? A boy or a girl?
I
What is it?
feel girl, but I don't know if that's wishful or like mother's intuition. I don't know. It could also literally just be wishful because I've always wanted a girl, so I don't know.
Yeah, you know, when
My
I was
husband feels boy, so
yeah. So my husband used to like I used to always talk to the baby as like as if it's a girl. And my husband's like, listen, you be careful. You're just going on she. What if it's a boy? Then you don't know it's gonna be like a conflict.
so
Because
what did you have?
I have two daughters and I just
Oh,
wanted girls. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. So I was like, my husband's like, can you please address it as it because we don't know yet. So are you addressing it as a girl or a boy?
we've given the baby like a temporary name just so that no one has to say he or she. And it either because somebody was like, how could you call your baby it? That's horrible. So I was like, okay. So my husband has named the little baby in my stomach Sibi, and that's what we refer to it as. Like whether it's a boy or girl is of no consequence. This is Sibi.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, when's the baby? When's the due date?
September mid. It can go up and down as you know, having two babies. But yeah, about September mid, so around the 20th, 21st of September.
Right. Okay, and I wish you all the best. I wish you a lot of luck with Dr. Firoz because he's gonna like make you feel horrible when you stand on that weighing scale. Each
Oh,
time,
I met him yesterday. Luckily, my weight was fine. He didn't say anything because when I stood on it, I was so scared because my sister gained weight during her pregnancy, a little bit around my wedding time. And he was like, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're
he's
eating?
gonna make you feel horrible. Just tell him I said that because I said it, like he knows me. I told him like I think I'm breathing air and putting on weight, and he was like, "No, you just stop eating this." And I was like, "Come on, I'm not letting go of this." But Vitali, any pressures before we end? Any pressures that are you going to put on yourself? That listen, I have to get back. I have to be back in business. I have to be like back at work.
um, I think the only two pressures I put on myself right now are that I need to be more productive now that I'm back in Bombay. Whether it's just creating like casual content to keep my followers up to date on what's going on with me, or working with working on some of the collaborations that we have lined up. I definitely need to start being more productive. I need to get out of like the Mahabaleshwar headspace, and I need to continue to make sure that I'm active every single day because I want a smooth delivery and as far as possible, um, I don't want to have a C-section. So I need to be as physically active as I can possibly every single day. So even when I feel lazy, I need to push myself. Right now, these are the only two things.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we wish you all the best. And I really hope that your baby shower is not under lockdown and we're all healthy
Thank
and you have
you.
a really simple, smooth delivery and a great
Thank you
pregnancy.
so much, Mansi.